Good evening, and welcome to the 2018 Senior Sports Awards ceremony. This evening, we will be honoring student athletes from 17 different sports. Tonight will be an opportunity for us to not only recognize, but also thank these athletes for all their hard work and dedication over the past 4 years. These young men and women have done an outstanding job of representing themselves, their families, and New Egypt High School as shown by their performance in the classroom as well as in their athletic endeavors. As parents, you should be extremely proud of your son or daughter and all that they have accomplished in their time here at New Egypt High School. This evening, in many ways, ends a long journey for both our athletes and parents. Some of our athletes will be fortunate enough to be able to go on and compete in collegiate athletics. Some of you will move on to intramural athletics in college, and some of you may stop competing in organized athletics. Whichever path you choose, I hope you take some time and thank the people that helped you along the way. Whether it is a parent, a coach, or a teacher, please show how much you appreciate the support they have given you during your athletic career. As you receive your diploma on June 21st, it is my hope that being an athlete here at New Egypt High School has prepared you for the next step in your life. I hope you learned the value of hard work, discipline, and being a good teammate. I also hope you had an enjoyable experience and these memories and friendships will last you a lifetime. This past school year, our girls soccer, girls bowling, and girls track teams won division championships. Our boys basketball, boys soccer, and softball teams advanced to the Central Jersey Group 1 semifinal games. 2 of our athletes surpassed the 1,000-point career totals in boys basketball. As outstanding as these accomplishments are, I am equally as proud of Chloe Lewis for being selected as our representative at the NJSIA Scholar Athlete Luncheon. For your athletic efforts, academic achievement, attitude, and behavior, I thank each and every one of our student athletes. Tonight we will be asking our coaches to present our senior athletes and the Warrior Award recipient they have chosen for their respective sport. We will be showing a highlight video of game footage collected throughout the school year. We will recognize our 3 sport athletes and 4-year letter winners. Lastly, we will present the Bart and Berge Award and announce our male and female athletes of the year. The first team we will be recognizing this evening is girls soccer. I ask head coach Jen Kashuba to come up at this time.
Good evening. I'd like to take this time to thank not only our graduating seniors, but the grounds crew, the administrators, teachers, coaches, parents, family, and friends who have supported New Egypt Women's Soccer Program in the past and the seasons to come. Finally, back to the reason why we're here tonight, the seniors. We have to honor 7 girls who played the sport of soccer through their years at New Egypt High School. As the seasons go by, I've watched these graduating seniors grow into beautiful and talented young women on and off the field. I have had the pleasure of coaching these ladies their junior and senior year. It is bittersweet to see them graduate, for these 7 girls have set the bar enormously high for future classes to live up to. The character of these girls have brought them through tough times, as well as helped them celebrate their accomplishments, like getting their first win against Delran and Bordentown in school history. They also won the Patriot Division title this year after setting the goal to do this at the beginning of the season. They had the drive and determination to accomplish anything set before them. I have no doubt in my mind that these seniors will flourish and succeed in all of their future endeavors. I wish them well and hope that they come back to visit. The graduating women from the 2017-2018 season are Amanda Brown, Kylie Idell, Alicia Hill, Mackenzie Quinn, Paige Siegel, Sarah Stokowski, and Samantha Weber. Okay, I also have the privilege to present the New Egypt Women's Soccer Warrior Award tonight as well. It is my honor to give this 2017-2018 Women's Soccer Warrior Award to a woman whose love of the game brings a smile to my heart. She has inspired me throughout her 4 years here, whether it was in the classroom or on the field, to be a better coach, teacher, and player. She loves to make sure the team is positive and on task at all times. This year, she made some sacrifices in positions on the field to grow the program. She was one who worked her way from a junior varsity position into a varsity starting lineup through her 4 years here. She has worked hard in the off-season to earn her position and maintain it throughout her senior year. When she was not on the field, she was focused on the game and gave her team positive feedback. I hope she upholds the Warrior tradition when she continues her education at RCBC. Kylie Idell.
Thank you, Jen. Our next squads we will be honoring are boys and girls cross country. Head coach Mick Hughes, please come up.
Can I get the seniors to come up here? Zach, Connor, Nick Salone, is everybody here? Kara Ellis, there we go. Is Kara here? Okay, I'll just go with these two. Okay, so cross country, I kind of say this every year, but it's definitely one of those sports where they don't get a lot of recognition. We don't have packed bleachers or stands. There's not a lot of people watching. You know, our sport is really what a lot of other sports do for punishment. You know, in certain practices will run 8 miles, in other practices will do interval training while they're sprinting. So it really takes a certain kind of character, someone who can handle adversity, somebody who can really stay together as teammates, and these two that are up here right now definitely do that. So this year we were 5-5 on the boys' side. On the girls' side, we were 6-4. We were second in the Freedom Division. And so I'll talk a little bit about each of these gentlemen individually, and then we'll go from there. So Nick Salone, he joined us for his senior year. This was his first and only year running cross country. And kind of going along with that, in the yearbook, Nick was voted by his classmates as the biggest glow up, which means sort of most changed for the better. And you know, I knew Nicky as a freshman, really did change. He really prepared for the season. He trained a lot, and it was exciting to see him come out and join our ranks this year. Little funny story about Nicky. One of our first practices, we're all kind of waiting for everybody to come in, and Nicky isn't there. It's 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Then I get a phone call from Quinn Kimmick, actually. He says, "Is Nicky on the cross country team?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, he's running by IGA right now, so you might want to come and get him." So anyway, it was great to have him on the team. He really provided a lot of spirit. Really entertaining guy, worked his butt off without a lot of recognition, and so Nicky, it was great to have you. I'm really glad you came out this year. So Nick Salone. And then we have Zach. So Zach is a 3-year cross-country runner. His freshman year he played football. Made the switch over to cross country, I think originally to really get himself into shape for lacrosse. And he developed into a strong runner, and probably more importantly, he developed into a really strong leader. He's kind of a natural leader. If anybody knows anything about Zach, he's a great student, high character individual, led us every day in stretching, was just always very consistent, and really kind of, you know, it set the edge for the rest of our team. So this year's Warrior Award winner is Zach Young.
Thank you, Mick. Head coach Matt Carroll, please come forward with our boys soccer team.
Can I just start having all the boys and girls just come to the stage right now? Statisticians. Come on, I'm coming up here. Come on, G.
Go on this side.
You can come on that. Can we start? Okay. Here. The Warriors boys soccer program would like to start off by thanking all the parents, administrators, officials, Jim Swicky, and staff to make all this possible. A special thanks to the maintenance and grounds crew. Going around to other schools around the BCSL and other divisions, even the ones down the road, makes us so thankful for the fields that we have here. The facilities are some of the best in the state. As a team, we made massive strides as a program. After our defeat in the sectional semifinals to Asbury Park in a penalty shootout, we sat in that team room, still soaking wet. I thought they would kind of want to get out of there and go home and kind of, you know, pack it up. We sat there for hours just telling stories about the season, and no one really wanted to leave. You know, it was that special. We really wanted to just be together, be around each other. It really was amazing. Okay, first, I would like to talk about our statisticians who kept me going this year. First, Sarah Lynn Lapenzina. Sarah Lynn came into the program as a shy young woman who quietly but diligently filled out the book, filmed the game, or tagged the film on Huddle. She still did all that this season, and sometimes more, such as when she personally took the team photos, and I'd like to think that she wasn't the one that took the picture of me that's in the yearbook now. Okay. Thanks for that. But she did this with all the newfound confidence I couldn't have imagined from her all those years ago. She was a reliable, trustworthy, and hard-working statistician who will be missed by everyone in this program. Next up, Gia Harper. When the team went looking for a statistician, Gia jumped at the chance with absolutely no hesitation and brought Sarah Lynn along. The duo have been key, if unsung at times, in addition to the program over the last 3 years. Gia has watched so much soccer over the last 3 years, she was actually able to have tactical discussions with me and tell me, you know, I'd walk over and be like, G, what do you think? And she'd be like, they're not pressing. And I go, how do you know what that is? How do you know what that is? And she's like, I just watch a lot. I listen to you. Thank God someone does. I can't tell you how many times my halftime speech did have something Gia said in there. Filling out multiple roles in addition to her statistician duties, Gia's been at times a referee, team mom, a coach, a scout, team chef, and always a calming presence to the players and staff alike. She personally calmed me down after the photo in the yearbook I discussed previously. I can't imagine coaching without Gia. It's a reassuring presence behind me, reminding me to stay calm. So thank you, Gia, and thank you, Sarah Lynn. Next up, going to our players, Dylan Weisberger. Dylan is the type of player every coach needs on his team. Whether it's talking to younger players about an issue, playing out of position for the sake of the team, building our team cart, twice and fell apart. Selling gear, or just generally being in a good mood, Dylan was our go-to guy. Dylan is 3 years in this program, is also our #1 fundraiser, so if anyone got a warm-up shirt, you can thank Dylan, probably. He sold the most gear, so thank you, Dylan. Will LaVorse isn't here, but I do want to say that I like to consider that save he had in the PK at Florence is one of the greatest sporting moments in New Egypt history. So I know he can't make it tonight. He let me know, but thank you for that save that helped us beat Florence. We'll get to that later. Okay. We'll move on now to Sean O'Neill. Sean is a 4-year letter winner. He's a cerebral and dedicated athlete. His efforts go well beyond the team's allotted training sessions. He was the guy that was, you'd see in the summer with a bunch of cones laid out, just doing his individual work, working his butt off, when no one really was watching. Sean has sacrificed a tremendous amount for the program, playing numerous roles and positions, and never once showed signs that it ever affected his game. He always gave 110%. Sean's approach to life is that every new experience should make him not only a better athlete and better student, but a better person. And this has helped him become a mature and confident young man. Thank you, Sean. Next up is Hunter Keaton. Hunter is a 3rd-year varsity letter winner. Hunter is a supremely analytical player who sees the game better than some people twice his age. His use of his knowledge allows him to dictate the run of play from the defensive position and control some games with just his voice. On the ball, he's equally dangerous and is fearless in taking any player on, no matter where he is on the pitch. More importantly, my wife knows that during soccer season, I can't really sleep that much, and really the only thing that sometimes gets me to bed is that we have Hunter Keaton in our back line, because I know he's going to make a ton of stops for us. So, my wife and me, thank you. Hunter plans to attend Cairn University next year, and I would like to also congratulate his new coach on all the sleep he will get this upcoming season. Thank you, Hunter. Next, Cody LaCava. Cody's a 3-year letter winner and one of our captains this year. Cody's a bulldog who the opposition must constantly account for. His skill, coupled with his relentless effort and drive, make him a defensive and offensive problem for anyone he goes up against. This, along with his positive and welcoming attitude, invites those around him to follow him wherever he chooses to go. I remember the exact moment when we found out that Cody didn't really realize how much of a leader he was, and we pulled him aside and we said, Cody, if you tell these guys that, these 30 guys you got around here, you tell them to do something, they're going to immediately go and do it. And he's like, no, they won't do that. And I go, tell them to go get online, tell them we're going to run. And Cody turns around, yo, we're going to run. And without batting an eye, every single player, kids that were 2 years older than him, just turned around and ran to the line. Everyone except Anthony Burr, who was like, why? He also is his best friend. But everyone else turned and ran right to that line. He kind of realized at that moment, people are going to follow you. He's that kind of kid. His fearlessness and willingness to sacrifice his body at every day, at every practice, at every game, in addition to his ample amount of skill, made Cody one of the best players we have had in the last 3 years. And Manhattanville is very lucky to have him next year. Thank you, Cody. Finally, we have Riley Hughes. Riley is a 3-year letter winner and a captain. Few players have transformed and grown and succeeded as much as Riley Hughes. From the time when he was a sophomore and he wanted to practice barefoot so he could be closer to the earth, which actually we found out is like an actual method and people use it, so you win. Okay. To being elected captain this year. The tremendous strides Riley has taken as a player, as a leader, and as a man are an inspiration to those around him. I remember the stories of Riley playing with his desk in class like he was playing a video game when he was a sophomore, or the time he used colorful, vibrant language to explain to me that he was very tired. I can't use the language here, but and inquired why I had not subbed him yet. Riley found ways on his best days and on his worst days to ensure that no matter what he was, making those around him better. If we were in a locker room after a loss, I didn't give speeches. I sat quietly and I waited for the silence to drive everyone crazy. And at that point, Riley Hughes would stand up and just spill his guts to his teammates and tell everyone how much he loved this team and how much they meant to him and what needed to be done to move forward. And everyone listened quietly to every single word. As a student, he took leaps and bounds in the classroom and advocated for himself in very few ways, in a way very few students do. Riley, I want you to know your growth is far from complete. There's still many days I have to grab you and remind you that you have to go turn this thing in or get this thing signed. But I'm so proud of you, and this team is so proud of you. Remember this. Continue to make us all proud. For what he has meant to this program, Riley Hughes is this year's New Egypt Varsity Soccer Award winner. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Head coach Jeff Page, please come forward to speak about our girls tennis program.
Thank you, Mr. Ballant. This was a tough decision between my assistant coach, my JV coach, Coach Gazzardo, and myself, because this past season, our tennis program actually had no seniors, and nearly all of our players were had similar athletic abilities. It was really tough to make this call. However, with that being said, and with much deliberation, we have come to the conclusion that Claire Krantz earned the Warrior Award this year, and we would like to congratulate her. Can you come up here, Claire Krantz? Claire's a junior this year, and she had the best singles record representing New Egypt High School at the second singles position for varsity. She demonstrated a hard work ethic on the tennis courts, fierce competition during each match, and she showed excellent sportsmanship. Claire exudes a true athletic spirit because she is always focused on each point, patiently waiting to find a weak spot on her opponent, and she has a mentally tough attitude about the sport of tennis. Not to mention that she commands a strong discipline for the game. With Claire on the team for the 2018-19 season, I'm confident and optimistic that she will continue to improve her game and benefit the team as a whole. Thank you, Claire.
Thank you, Jeff. The next team we'll be recognizing is football. Head coach Steve Fentz and assistant coach Paul Carazola, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Ballant. I would like to start off by thanking the administration, the grounds crew, Mr. Zawicki. I'd also like to take the time to thank the War Zone, Mr. Dempsey. I'd like to thank you. New Egypt is a great place to play football. We were undefeated at home, and the War Zone had a lot to do with that, so I'd like to take the time to thank them. The 2018 season in review, we were 7-3 overall, 3-2 in conference. We set records for points scored with 362. We had 2 shutouts. We had 5 first-team West Jersey Football League players, 5 second-team West Jersey Football League players, and 3 All-State recognitions. Overall, the senior class has gone through their 4 years with an overall record of 23-17, with a division title and 2 state playoff appearances. So that's to be applauded. Great job, guys. At this point, I'd like to call up all the seniors. Seniors, please come up. We had perfect attendance. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to Coach Carazola, who's going to talk about the offensive and defensive linemen, and I will take the skill players. So, Coach Carazola.
Hello. I'm going to talk about, obviously, the offensive and defensive linemen. I coach the offensive line. I'm the defensive coordinator for the team, so I got to know them pretty well. First guy's Michael Schmidt. He played right tackle for us this year. He was bumped around as an open competition at the right tackle spot. He would always show up every day ready to work. That was I was impressed by him from that aspect. Really bumped around the offensive line. He was more of a utility guy in the past, played a little bit of guard on both sides, but I was confident putting him into the game, letting him work, and he'd come back with feedback throughout the week regarding how he felt, the scheme that we were facing, and he was confident going into the game, and I knew I could count on him. The next offensive lineman, Nick MacArthur, he was, again, right tackle. We had an open competition at that spot. It was back and forth the whole year, and I think overall it made our offensive line better. He just competed every day. The thing about Nick is he asked a lot of questions. He wanted to know what he needed to do, what he needed to do to get better, and he was on top of it throughout the week, ready to play. I knew that when I made a decision to put him in, he would produce the same exact level as Mike would. So it was really a luxury to have both of them in that spot. Next guy, Lucas Thompson. He bumped around throughout offensive line, defensive line play. He played left or right tackle or tackle guard for us this year a little bit. Also played some tight end. So he was a utility lineman, but he made his presence felt mostly on defense. He played defensive end for us. He's got long arms. He could use them. He extended. He got people off of his body, and throughout the year he continued to progress over and over and over time. But he's done a lot for this program since he's been here. He was a JV player, worked his way into the lineup, and showed how much he cared about this program and his teammates. Our fourth guy, Ryan Exner. I call him, I've used the word utility a lot, but he is the definition of a utility player. He could play all interior spots in the offensive line. He was 100% accountable for every call he made, every step he took on the field, precise with everything. He constantly off-season in the weight room doing the things he needed to be doing, and it showed. Once he became a senior, he was an every down player on offense, and I put him in for defensive reps. He knew exactly what to do. Even though he didn't get the reps in practice, I knew he was confident going in to do his job. Last guy, Dom Messo. Oh, jeez. Dom played center for us. He's not exactly the most imposing person, but he loves his teammates, he loves football, and it showed on film, it showed in practice. I will say that he's probably one of the best leaders on our team. I have numerous examples of that. He held his teammates accountable with his voice, with his actions, and I saw that development through him since he was a younger player, growing into a senior leader. And I was very fortunate enough to coach him on the offensive line. As a center, you need to be able to make calls, you need to be able to see the scheme in front of you, you got to be a decision maker. And it takes a special kind of person, and he did it very, very well, especially with an undersized physical tools. Mentally, he constantly was on top of it, and I knew when he came to the sidelines and he gave us info and feedback, I trusted everything he said. It says a lot about him and the kind of kid he is. That's all. That's our offensive line, defensive line, our senior group.
The first guy I'm going to start talking about played what we call our B-back role, which is our fullback role. And he skipped football his junior year, which I think he regrets. But he came to us over the summer and he said, "Coach, I'm playing." And we were excited and we created a role. We run a spread-based offense. We don't have a huge need for a fullback at times, but when he came in, there were a couple games that stood out for us. The first game that stood out, Mark Carroll came in against Palmyra, and we ran a 21 base personnel system, which means we had a fullback in the game at all times. And Mark really came through, really led us to our win against Palmyra. He's a great kid to coach. He has a tremendous sense of humor, and that's Mark Carroll. Our next athlete came to me the day that we opened up camp, about an hour before we started, and said, "Coach, I want to play football," and my jaw almost hit the floor, but I'm really, really happy he did. Anthony Burr played on both sides of the ball for us. He played in our slot for our wide receiver in our spread package. He also played some tailback, and he was a starting cornerback on defense for most of the year. It was his first year playing football, and he turned out to be a second-team all-conference wide receiver. He had 261 offensive yards, 3 offensive touchdowns, a punt return, and a kick return for a touchdown. He was a tremendous asset for us and a pleasure to coach. So that's Anthony Burr. The next kid is Owen Robb, and Owen is a football player. He's an awesome basketball player, and I can debate with him all day. Other than the Eagles, I can debate with him the fact that he's a football player. Owen came in and was our starting X receiver and our starting free safety. Owen was a second-team all-conference free safety. He had 16 catches for 253 yards and 4 touchdowns. He was a tremendous player. I've never seen a safety come down the alley like he has. He made several tackles in the backfield, and for a free safety to do that, it's tremendous. He also picked up on the offense quickly and was a huge asset to our offense, and that's Owen Robb. The next kid is very special to me. He's one of our captains along with Dom. He is truly a great high school football player, and our coaching staff didn't get into many arguments, and this was one we didn't have to argue. Neil is going to further his career and his athletic career playing baseball in college, but I truly believe that he could go and be equally effective in football. You know, Coach Carazola is high on that as well. I'm very excited to see what Neil grows into. Neil was a first-team all-conference cornerback. Neil was also a second-team all-Central Jersey Group 1 cornerback, but he was also a leader, and he was also a tremendous offensive player. He had 19 receptions for 337 yards and three receiving touchdowns. He also had a rushing touchdown, and he's just a great overall kid. I can't wait to see what happens with Neil in the future. So congratulations. Last but not least is our last captain, who will be continuing his football and educational career at St. Lawrence University. Kyle Frimmel accounted for 1,255 passing yards as a senior and 816 rushing yards, the second year in a row that he went over 2,000 all-purpose yards. He accounted for 26 total touchdowns, rushing and passing. He will graduate New Egypt High School with every major passing record in school history. That being said, he's also an outstanding defensive player and projects to play defense in college. He was named all Central Jersey Group 1 quarterback, and he was the first team WJFL quarterback. It is my pleasure to present the Warrior Award joining his brother, to Kyle Frimmel. It was absolutely my pleasure to coach the class of 2018 and see all their accomplishments on the field. They're truly an amazing group of kids. I can't wait to see what they do in the future. They're a huge part of the New Egypt Warrior football family, and they're always welcome. Once a Warrior, always a Warrior. Guys, thank you.
Thank you, Steve and Paul. Our cheerleaders will now be recognized by head coach Kathleen Clayton.
Short people problem, sorry.
If I could ask all of my seniors to come on up, please. And as they do so, I'm going to talk about our season a little bit. We had a great season this year, despite having a coaching change mid-season due to some unforeseen circumstances. This year's fall cheer team had 25 members between JV and varsity, and all have worked hard to make this a great team. Our homecoming pep rally routine had higher difficulty levels than in years past, and many offered praise to the team for doing an outstanding job. But before I begin, so I can see you. Before I begin, I just want to talk about these amazing young women. I want to tell you and thank all of you for adding an individual and unique component to the team. Whether it's 12, 16, 20 or more people, every team is comprised of many different personalities that have to form into one body. If this doesn't happen, success is much harder to achieve and to reach, if not impossible. So thank you for all you have given to the team and for being such a pleasure to coach. I will miss all of you. So this year, Brianna Sims and Christina Madrigal came out to the team for the first time this year. They brought with them enthusiasm and a great attitude. Both girls worked very hard to learn the routines and make their stunt groups work. They got along with everyone on the squad and were a nice addition to the team. Alyssa Pazinka has been on the team for 3 years, having left for a year to attend Notre Dame. But she came back with enthusiasm and has been an asset to the fall cheer team. Alyssa works well with her teammates and has always offered help to those who are struggling to stunt or with a cheer, and she will be missed. Brianna Carter, Valerie Rossi, Kaylee Kinks, and Mackenzie Crater are all 4-year varsity cheerleaders that I have had the privilege of coaching for all 4 of those years. Brianna Carter has been a flyer and a tumbler during her tenure on fall cheer. She is a gymnast and has always been a hard worker. Even when she was nervous about trying a new stunt, she would put on her game face and make the stunt happen. She has a great attitude and has been a joy to work with. Valerie Rossi has been a cheer captain for 2 years. She's been both a flyer and a base, and she's always worked well with her stunt group. Valerie is a good captain, taking the time to help girls who were struggling to learn a routine or a cheer and patiently assisting them until they got it right. She has been a pleasure to coach. She's not here, is she? Sorry. Kaylee Kinks has been a flyer and a tumbler for 4 years and a captain during this fall season. Kaylee has always been the joker of the team. She would always make us laugh, and we've had many hilarious moments over the 4 years that she's been on the squad. But that being said, she is a hard worker, and she would push herself to hit a stunt until she made it happen, and she was a great leader. She's been a huge asset to the team, and I will miss her. And finally, Mackenzie Crater has been a base during her tenure, as well as the most senior of the captains, having risen to that role as a sophomore. Mackenzie has been an excellent leader and has worked hard over the past 4 years to make the team the best it could be. I have watched her grow into the role of captain and make it her own over time. Her passion and drive for cheer has always shown through in everything that she's done. I'm so proud of Mackenzie and all she has contributed to the team. She gave cheer her all, and it showed during every performance. It is for these reasons, as well as many others, that she is this year's Warrior Award recipient.
Thank you, Kathleen. Head field hockey coach Lisa Malloy, please come up to recognize our field hockey players.
Good evening, senior athletes, families, fans, and administration. Thank you to our team parents, Mr. Sawicki, Mr. Mendez, Mr. Ballant, Mrs. Newman, and Mr. North for your continued support. To all of our seniors out there, good luck and best of luck to all of your future endeavors. With a large group of collegiate athletes out in the crowd, you should feel incredibly proud of yourselves and all of your accomplishments. This year's 2017 field hockey theme winners embrace hard work was widely accepted by the team, and overall our 5-11-1 season can't be defined by the number of wins and losses. Yet it was the team's courage and true perseverance to rise when the stakes were high that made our season a success. Our team was led by 4 incredible senior captains, Chloe Lewis, Peyton Magnata, Emily Deaney, and Katie Poach. These 4 proud warriors have helped to create a strong foundation for the future of the program, and I'd like to take a moment to recognize each individual for their ultimate dedication and commitment to this team. You guys can all come up to the stage. Voted first team all-conference as a junior, second team all-conference as a senior, captain, Emily Deaney has been an incredible asset to New Egypt's team and defensive unit. As one of her teammates explained in a written captain nomination, Emily has always been the silent leader that leads by example. She is a dependable friend and teammate that steps up when she is needed the most. She performs best under pressure and has a remarkable way of defending the circle. Emily has a weight to carry on her shoulders, had a weight to carry on her shoulders this past season. I still can't believe it. But she's always played her hardest and left everything that she has out on the field. Good luck to you, Emily, and as she plans to attend Clemson University in the fall. Next, we have captain goalie Chloe Lewis. With a total of 292 career saves, Chloe was considered the most dominating field hockey keeper in the BCSL and was the only keeper to be awarded this nomination. Known as a brick wall by numerous coaches, officials, and bystanders, Chloe was the glue that held our defense together. She's a force of nature and had the most communicative presence on the field. My fondest memory of Chloe was watching her dominate last season against the state match against Johnson. They had 21 quarters, 29 shots in the first half, and she dominated to keep the score at 0-0. Good luck to Chloe as she plans to continue her Division I softball career at U. Next we have Katie Poach. She was recognized first team all-conference as a junior and second team all-conference as a senior. She was deemed a midfielder midway through her career and led the Warriors with 11 goals and 10 assists this past season. During critical games, Katie was able to rise, connect, and execute with unwavering energy. As a primary defender and vital asset on attack, Katie was the do-it-all player on the field with us. It's not the total points or impressive goal line saves that makes Katie impactful. It's her strong character, level of confidence, self-belief, and the raised standards for her teammates that make her so successful. From the very first whistle to the last, Katie thrived with a never-give-up attitude and constantly challenged her teammates to play at a higher caliber. Congrats to Katie as she plans to attend McDaniel College in the fall for lacrosse. And lastly, our 2-year captain, Peyton Magnata. I have witnessed a plethora of players deemed by coaches and peers as natural leaders. However, Peyton's ability to demonstrate unwavering leadership and presence off the field has been among the loudest. That's why this year's Warrior Field Hockey Award goes to her. Suffering 3 consecutive season-ending injuries over the past 3 seasons alone, Peyton's unbroken determination has been the truest example of pride, willpower, and sacrifice. When I first became a head coach at New Egypt last season, I had 6 years of assistant coaching under my belt, and as an eager coach, I led by my former coach and routinely evaluated player performance on a note card expressing a few points of constructive criticism. The first time I watched Peyton as a junior, I salivated over her game sense and understanding of the field. I instantly knew that she was aware confident and communicative on the field, and her upbeat encouragement was absolutely needed at practice. Knowing her family's history of athleticism and overall interest in the sport, I thought that Peyton would surely follow the footsteps of her eldest sisters as an indisputable collegiate-bound athlete. Unfortunately, as many of you know, last year Peyton faced two separate injuries, both during field hockey and lacrosse, once to the left and then to the right knee. But she came back this past season after conquering her fears on the field. She continued to play and was able to rehab. When I put her at defense for a few games, she shook me and said, "Coach, please, just please put me at midfield." And she was the glue that we needed, and she instantly connected with the team. After the fear subsided, she was happy playing everywhere, and as away and eased slowly into the season, she transitioned, and her grit and ultimate determination defines her tremendous character. I cried tears of joy when I saw her score a goal against our conference rival Bordentown, and we ended up winning that game. Although she didn't get to finish her career because she ended with, again, a devastating third knee injury just 2 games prior to the end of the season, Peyton still remains lighthearted about her career-ending injury and accepted that she inherited her bad knees from her father, and each time her injury happened, it was easier to recover. Peyton saw the injury as just another challenging setback, and I've learned so much from this kid. It's unbelievable. She's the type of person that will succeed in life, and I wish you the best of luck at East Carolina this fall. I just wanted to say one more time, thanks to these 4 brilliant leaders. You continue to amaze me, and I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you, Lisa. Marching Band Director Doug Grotto, please come forward to conclude the fall sports section of our program.
Good evening. Mr. North, Mr. Mendez, and Mr. Ballant, we'd be happy to know that once again, the band was undefeated this year. We had a little trouble playing the Beethoven, but we pulled it out in the 4th movement. This year, we sported our brand new uniforms with pride. We received many compliments about how sharp they looked on us. We also traveled to Disney World in April. We were not just in a parade, but we were the parade. As the only marching band, we had the audience all to ourselves. We brought our Warrior Pride to Florida. Warrior Pride's written on our walls, on our awards, but if you really want to see Warrior Pride, look around at the students. There's where it is. It's in their hearts, and it's in everything they do, on the field, in the courts, and even in the stands. Band and drill team will be graduating 10 seniors this year. They'll receive their letters and pins after the spring concert on June 11th. I'd like to ask the seniors to come on up to the podium. These seniors are hardworking, innovative, and dynamic. They all work well together and with the other band members. They are filled with Warrior Pride. Although some could not make it tonight, I'd like to recognize all of our seniors. Leo Melendez joined the band as a senior, learned the saxophone, and he'll be attending NYU. Nick Salone has been in band for 2 years as a member of the saxophone section. He's attending Rutgers. And since Mr. Hughes had a Nick Salone story, I also have one. We not only play at all the home football games, but we go to the away games as well. And when we play in the away games, the band is the pregame show. And at one of the away games, the band got off the bus and unloaded the trailer, got their instruments together, got saxophone, and he has soared to great heights. And Peter will be attending Rutgers. Sam Dreyer started out as the equipment manager for the band, and then he joined the drill team. He's everyone's friend, and he'll be attending OCC. Zach Dancer has been in the band for 3 years. He plays the quints and the saxophone, and he's a genuine leader. He'll be attending TCNJ. Beyonce Lane, who's not here this evening, has been in the band for 3 years, and she's become an amazing musician. She's attending FDU. Matt Fry has been in the band for 3 years, plays the baritone horn, and is always willing to help out in any situation. Thank you, Matt, for our sound system tonight. He'll be attending OCC. Dylan Zawada has been in the band for 4 years and plays the baritone horn. Kirsten Hughes has also been in the band for 4 years and has played trumpet and percussion. Dave Marshall has been in the band for 4 years, plays the saxophone and trombone, and has served as the drum major this year. He's attending OCC. The Warrior Award for Band is given to the student who has shown heart, dedication, and pride in the band and drill team program throughout his or her musical journey. This year was a tough decision to make. I'm honored to present the 2018 Warrior Award for Band to David Marshall.
Thank you, Doug. At this time, we will be moving to our winter sports. Boys basketball head coach Mick Hughes, please come forward.
Okay, can I get all my seniors to come on up here? Let's get the statisticians as well. Mackenzie, Gia, come on up. Don't be shy. Here we go. Okay, first off, I'd like to thank this guy to my right here, Coach Carazola. Couldn't ask for a better assistant coach. Division I athlete, really sets a great tone for us in practice and in games. The kids relate to him. Obviously, he's a little bit younger than I am, and he can definitely communicate with them in a way that I sometimes can't. So he's a tremendous asset. He's all over the school as well. He coaches football, he coaches lacrosse, he's in the weight room, so we're real happy to have him. Our other assistant coach isn't here. It's Bill Rabb, former player here. He's recovering from back surgery, but same goes for him. We're real happy and lucky to have him as part of our staff this year, and hopefully we'll have him on staff in the future as well. So first, let's start with our statisticians here. Gia and Mackenzie. Julia is not here, Julia Wiggett. Honestly, unsung heroes of the team. Mackenzie's been with us for 4 years, Gia 2 or 3? 2 years. So Mackenzie, I mean, just the commitment that comes with it, you know, they have to come to every away game. Basketball is a sport where, you know, we're getting home from road games 9:30 at night. So it's really asking a lot, and a good statistician is usually an unnoticed statistician in that they're not making mistakes, and so it's a really unsung position. So Mackenzie, really, really grateful for your 4 years. I think her sister might take over for us next year, but really, really happy that she was part of the team. So Mackenzie Crater. Gia, in her first year, we had her doing stats on the bench, and honestly, I think she'll probably tell you the same. It took her a little bit of time to get used to and understand the nuances of the game, but she stuck with it. And this year, I think the improvement was evident, and it was tremendous. And same thing, Gia, we're just really happy that you came and you're a part of the team. Along with Mackenzie and Julia, their attitudes were great all the time. Just little rays of sunshine in the front of the bus, popping around and stuff. So, girls, thank you so much for being our statisticians this year. Okay, so these guys behind me here, their freshman year they were 1-25. Yeah, so it was definitely a difficult run, but you know we were playing with a lot of freshmen, and I think they knew that brighter days were ahead. But that didn't just happen for no reason. They worked really hard as a unit. And this year we were 17-12, and that was after starting 4-5. We ended up going on an 11-3 run after that. We earned the number 2 seed in Central Jersey Group 1 playoffs. We were able to host 3 games here. The first 2 were thrillers. Against Shore Regional was the first one. Quinn Kimmick had our game-winning shot in that one. On a nice pass from, I want to say, Owen from past to him, so it was really, and that was Quinn's 3rd game winner of his career. And also throughout the course of the year, we opened up here against Florence, who's our division rivals. We beat them by 30 points. We shut them out in the second quarter of that game, and that really, I think, set the tone for our season. We also beat a really good Heightstown team here on a Saturday afternoon. And Saturday afternoons were actually really good to us in this gym. Their sophomore year, we beat Palmyra, who ended up, I think, that year being ranked like 8th in Group 1. We upset them in here, and that really got the ball rolling for where these guys got in the following years. So we also won our Christmas tournament for the second time in 2 seasons. In the championship game, in the second quarter of that game, we shut out Steiner in that game as well. So those were 2 real, that and the Florence game were really defensive highlights for us this year. We shot, our effective field goal percentage this year was 48% as a team, which is really good. Obviously, if you're making half your shots almost, that's a pretty good statistic. I don't think you have to be a basketball connoisseur to realize that. And our opponents we only allowed 45 points a game with our opponents. And so that was something that we really tried to preach to these guys was defense, and they definitely bought into that. So been through a lot with these guys. We've been through 3 summer camps together, 3 summer leagues. We've been through fall leagues, tons of workouts, practices. I'm sure they got very tired of me saying the same stuff all the time, telling them to talk. Jump stop is probably something that's going to wake up. They're going to wake up with nightmares for. But you know, it was a real pleasure to coach them. One of the things that I often heard when I would talk to other coaches and things like that, they were always so impressed with how we shared the ball, and that's a tribute to them. A lot of these guys, they've been playing together since they were literally, I think, in 3rd grade or 4th grade, and it showed. And they were extremely unselfish, and I think that really contributed to our success as a whole. Okay, so let's run them through these here. So Jeffrey, the Samurai Sakamura. There he is. There's Jeffrey, looking sharp. Yep. So Jeff really came into his own this year. He was an excellent shooter for us. Played excellent defense. Was really a glue guy. Came to practice to work hard every single day. He had a little thing. Him and Anthony, after practice every day, they would have to make a shot. I kind of thought they were just hanging around to see the girls practice or flirt with some girls, but really they were getting in some extra reps. And those extra reps showed. Jeff made some big threes for us this year, and he really grew and matured. And so we're going to miss him a bunch. And Jeff's going to Seton Hall, and so you know, hopefully he'll stop back in, and I know he'll be a success in the future. So Jeff, the Samurai Sakamura. Okay, next up we got Quinn, the Ghost in the Post, Kimmick. As I mentioned before, Quinn's had 3 game winners. First one was his sophomore year against Maple Shade. Second one was his sophomore year against, what was it? Morristown Friends. And this year, his biggest one, it was in the playoffs against Shore Regional. Quinn was always the last guy in the line for our warm-up line, and that's kind of where me and Coach stood. And so I definitely punched Quinn in the chest a lot with both fists just to kind of get him fired up a little bit. So Quinn, I apologize if I ever punched you a little too hard. You know, just trying to kind of wake him up and get him going a little bit. But he is a really great game. He can very diverse game. He can go inside, can play outside. He finished his career with 902 points. 537 career rebounds. He's going to continue his college career at McDaniel. So we're really looking forward to seeing what happens with that. So Quinn Kimmick. Next up, Anthony the General Burr. So a lot of memories with Anthony. He's been my point guard for 4 years, and he started every game except for one, which was senior night your junior year. So, you know, and it's, rest assured, anybody who watches basketball or has coached basketball, you know, like having a great point guard is something that, you know, really makes your life easier. He's like having a coach on the floor, very intelligent guy, great shooter. The one image that I have two images in my head of him though. One, the Christmas tournament, there's a loose ball somewhere around half court, and I just remember him getting completely horizontal and diving for the ball, and it led to us getting the layup, and it led to us going on a really big run, and that was kind of, you know, I was really proud of that. And then in our playoff game here against Point Pleasant Beach, he went into the stands for a ball. And if anybody remembers, I think one of the Point Beach fans had something pretty nasty to say to him, and I didn't, you know, so it was a hectic game. But again, that was him. That was you seeing his competitive side and how much he cared about winning. So obviously the big thing for him too, he scored his 1,000th point this year. He finishes his career with 1,056 career points. He's our career assist leader with 357. He's second all-time in threes with 168, and he's going to continue his college career at Bryn Athyn in Philadelphia. So really looking forward to seeing him in the future as well. Okay, then we got Owen, oh so smooth Rab. So great talent, real competitive, feisty guy. You heard Coach Fentz talk about him on the football field. He brought a lot of that fire to the basketball court from his freshman year to his senior year. I mentioned it before. He was a bad dude. He was a tough cover for anybody. He really relished the competition. He also scored his 1,000th point this year. Finished his career with 1,227 career points, which is third all-time. 779 career rebounds, second all-time. 172 career steals, which that makes him the career leader. And 146 career blocks. My memory about Owen, and I don't know if he'll remember this or not, but the game that we played against Heights down here, which was a really big game, and we won by 2, and just about when we knew it was going to be over, I just happened to be looking out, and he was looking back at the bench, and we both kind of realized that we won, and it was a really shared moment with a kid who was you know, just ultra competitive, and that was a big win for us. So Owen, oh so smooth Rab, and sorry, one sec. He's actually going to be going to college at Penn State University, so really hard school to get into. We're real proud of Owen, great student as well, so Owen Rab. Okay, and lastly here, Matt the Money Man Dempsey. There he is. So Demps is like having another coach on the floor. He was our vocal leader, always communicating on offense and defense. He's a player whose efforts didn't always end up on the stat sheet. However, this year we had a new program that provided us with some advanced metrics to measure unconventional stats. Plus minus is a stat that determines whether a team outscores or is outscored by its opponent while that player is on the floor. Demps led us in plus minus with a +6.1, and you know, well, why? Well, because he brings all the intangibles that basketball coaches everywhere always talk about: communication, defense, knowing the right place to be, making the extra pass, and hustling. Matt's going to be a hard guy to replace, and he's going to be a really annoying person to play against in intramurals next year. He's going to be going to James Madison in Virginia, so excellent school, and again, another excellent student. And Demps, I said this to you at the banquet too, if you want to coach here, we'll keep a spot for you. And so this year, our Warrior Award winner is Matt, the Money Man Dempsey.
Thank you, Mick. Caitlin Panasek, our girls basketball head coach, will be our next presenter.
So when you don't check your email because you're on maternity leave and you find out that you're supposed to be here about 30 minutes before it starts, you show up with your baby and spit up in your hair. So bear with me. Sam Weber, get up here, girl. Lucky for her, I have a lot to say about her and she's my only one. And I would not be here for anybody else. Sam is so mature, and she is such a leader, and that was evident her freshman year. You want to come over here and hold him? You want to hold him? All right, well, you're looking at Sam's next 4 years for me in the summertime when she's babysitting. So she's just a fantastic kid. This year we were 9 and 16, which doesn't seem like a whole lot on paper, but man, there were some close games. If I had to count those 16 wins with the ones that were 10 points and under, the difference, I mean, it might have been all of them. He's okay. Being the sole senior is not an easy job. And she handled it with such grace and just, all right, here, give him back to me. But you know that I have so many incredible things to say about you. She's going to Liberty University. We know that she's going to continue her writing passion, I think, there. I tried to get her to love science, but she didn't want to. Business. Business? Yeah. I know, boy. I don't want to make you stand up here too long. There we go. Okay, sorry. But Sam is actually wearing the necklace that kind of makes me cry, that says fearless. And that was our theme for this year, and she's the one that came up with it. And as soon as she said it, I was like, that is the perfect definition for this season. She went into every game completely fearlessly. The only thing that she, I think, was afraid of at times is letting everybody down. And if that doesn't say enough about her character, I don't know what will. Her biggest game, of course, was her senior night. And we beat Willingboro with a girl that is definitely going Division I. And Sam just shut her down. And I've never seen something like that. And I remember her freshman year, she came in and she was this skinny little beanpole. And then somehow, Papa Weber, the transition from sophomore to junior year, she came in and just was completely jacked. And I was like, because I knew that she was going to come down with some rebounds. She always averaged 10 points a game and 10 rebounds a game, and I'm going to miss her a lot. So, congratulations. You get the Warrior Award.
Thank you, Caitlin. Kevin English, our head wrestling coach, please come up to recognize our wrestlers.
Can Ryan and Mike please come up to the stage? Hello everyone, and once again, thank you for coming out tonight to celebrate the success of our student athletes. Nights like this are important because it gives us a chance to reflect on the emotional, exciting, and at times disappointing seasons that we all just completed. It is also a chance to reward those who have put in the extra time and effort to be successful. Sports are a microcosm of life. It is a place where not everything is easy and not everything works out for the best all the time. But it is a place where hard work pays off and you get rewarded for persistence and perseverance. In front of me are amazing people that understand this. At this time, I'd like to share with you the successes of our wrestling program over the past season. This year, we posted a 14-8 record and wrestled for the division championship against Maple Shade and hosted a state match. This season has been a huge step in the rebuilding process from where the program once was. As a team, our goal was to post double-digit wins, which we accomplished, and winning the division title, which we fell just short of. With all the accomplishments this team has fought to achieve, two individuals epitomize what we really stood for, and I would like now to talk about the two seniors who led this team through the growing process. The first senior, Ryan Chung, is a 3-year member of the program and a 2-year varsity letter winner. Ryan's work ethic is nothing short of amazing. His growth in his 3 years in the program was huge. Ryan worked himself into being a varsity starter and a consistent member for the rest of the younger wrestlers to follow. Ryan Chung. My last senior, Mike Schmid, is a 4-year varsity letter winner. Mike was with the program before I came back to coaching and has been a constant in the room. Mike was with the program his freshman year when the program did not have a win and was limited with wrestlers. His dedication to the program and his attitude to bettering himself and the program has been an inspiration to everyone. Mike has taken time out of his development to help the younger wrestlers improve. His selfless approach to improving the program and his leadership that he has shown over the past 4 years is why Mike is the 2018 Wrestling Warrior Award winner.
Thank you, Kevin. Head coach Sean Fedema, please come forward to talk about our girls bowling team.
Good evening. I would like to begin by congratulating all of our senior athletes, coaches, and Warrior Awards winners on a successful 2017 and 2018 season. Thank you for your dedication to your school and your respective teams over these past 4 years. Your love for the game and love for your teammates have left a lasting impact on all of your programs. And best of luck to you as you begin your post-high school careers, and for a large handful of you, the best of luck as you begin your collegiate athletic careers. I would also like to thank Mr. North, Mr. Mendez, Mr. Valent, and the rest of our staff here for making tonight and all of our sporting events throughout the year possible. So our girls bowling season. Even with 2 new head coaches at the helm, our 2017-2018 girls bowling season continued our team's commitment to excellence as our Lady Warriors captured their 4th straight BCSL Freedom Division title. The Warriors finished with a 13-3-1 record, including an 8-1-1 record in the division, which included some of South Jersey's top teams such as Mapleshade and Bordentown. The Warriors also finished third in the Burlington County tournament behind powerhouse Ewing, and also finished third in the South Jersey Group 1 sectional state tournament, just a few pins away from advancing to the overall Group 1 tournament. After graduating a core of key players, there was a lot of questions asked about this team throughout the year. And they were asked, would the Lady Warriors continue their past success? But our girls had an answer to every single question. And along the way, we placed all 5 of our varsity starters on either first or second team, being the only team in the division to do so. Not that bad for a rebuilding season, if you ask me. We are looking forward to continue on building on what we started this year, and we are excited to finish the job in states next year as we return 4 of our 5 varsity starters and 8 of our 10 bowlers on the team overall. But tonight is all about our seniors, and at this time I'd ask if our seniors can please come forward. So even though she is not here, I would like to give a shout out to one of our seniors, Kimmy Taylor. Kimmy brought joy and enthusiasm to Thunderbird Lanes every single day. I can safely say between the girls and the boys bowling teams combined, not one person on the team wanted to practice as hard and looked as forward to going to practice every single day as her. And her attitude and passion for coming out every single day was infectious throughout our team and made our girls want to practice that much harder. And she is going to be missed. She was a great addition to have as she helped us to become better every single day. And our second senior, Brianna Carter. Bree joined the team at the conclusion of her cheerleading season and made an instant impact on her team. I had been trying to recruit some of her friends in sociology class, and she jubilantly expressed interest in joining. I was unsure what to expect from a first-year bowler on the team, but Bree surpassed all of our expectations by scoring a 145 in her first ever practice game, which at that point she thought it was okay to reveal to Coach Palumbo and I that she had been bowling for most of her life. From this moment on, Bree anchored down her spot on the team as our leadoff bowler. The leadoff bowler is one of the most important players in the lineup because the leadoff bowler sets the tempo for how the rest of the team is going to do and gets us into our groove. And Bree not only started every game off strong for the 9-time division champions, but she improved each game and the rest of our bowlers followed suit. She earned herself the nickname Queen of Spares throughout the season because of her clutch gene, which allowed her to pick up every single spare, especially in the moments when we needed it the most. Bree was an essential part to our team this season, and she will be missed when she leaves us for Widener University to continue her education in accounting. Bree was honored by the BCSL for her performance and earned second team All-Division in her first year on the team. She carried an average of 131 per game, pacing the way for the Warriors with her highlight of the year being a 202 high game versus Del Ram and a crucial third game performance in our clinching match versus divisional rival Mapleshade. Bree will be missed next year, and we will miss her consistency on the lanes, her enthusiasm for her teammates, and her tenacity to be better than the last game and last match. She'll be hard to replace, and we wish that we could hold on to such a vital part of our team for one more season. Bree made herself and her teammates better every day and came up clutch when we needed her the most. And that is why the 2018 Girls Bowling Warrior Award goes to Miss Brianna Carter.
Thank you, Sean. Head Coach Sam Palumbo, please come up to speak about our boys bowling team.
Before I discuss all of my bowlers, can you guys please come on up? Any bowlers that are here, please come on up. This is awkward. I'm too short to deal with this. The 2017-2018 boys bowling team was a learned experience for the coaching staff. Luckily, we had an experienced group of seniors who not only were excellent all at their craft, but were leaders and co-coaches in their own right. Their skill and patience allowed for a 2-game improvement in wins from last year and were competitive in championship tournament situations, placing in the top 10 at the state sectional meet. Our first senior here, Dylan Weisberger. Dylan was a 4-year varsity member of the bowling team and was named captain by his teammates in the 2017-18 season. It was obvious from the beginning of the season that the team's success would be predicated on his season. Luckily for us, his years of practice and acute understanding of the game absolutely made us a better team. His high game of 278 led the team, as did his overall average of 196 pins per game. He was named first team All-BCSL and arguably was one of the top 10 bowlers in our state section. Dylan was the recipient of the 2017 Bowling Warrior Award winner. And when while Fed and I weren't coaching last year, we can obviously tell why this prestigious honor was bestowed upon him. Dylan Weisberger. Hunter Keaton. Hunter Keaton was another first-year varsity bowler who made a great impact on the team, as he eventually broke into the starting lineup to post important scores in both the BCSL Open and the state sectional match. His 149 at the South Sectional was his high varsity total for the year. Whether it be soccer, track, or bowling, the best thing about Hunter is the fact that you can always rely on him. His hard work in all of his sports are obvious, as a distinct pattern of achievement seems to occur both in the classroom and on the athletic fields. Hunter will be attending Cairn College next fall and is an outstanding choice for this year's Warrior Award winner.
Thank you, Sam. The last winter sports team we'll be recognizing is cheerleading. Head coach Jessica Zezza, please come up.
Thanks, Sam, for lowering it for me. If I could have Sam and Ashley up. The winter cheerleading team had a successful and fun season. The team was led by our captains, Ashley Getz and Sam Dreyer. This year we had a larger team with more and excited new faces. The team spent the season cheering at all of the girls and boys varsity home basketball games and decorating their lockers. The season was filled with lots of great laughs and energy. Our two seniors, Sam and Ashley, were invaluable to the team. They were both great leaders and positive examples, not only to the team, but to the school. Sam took on the role of captain this year and ran with it. It was easy to follow Sam's lead with his high energy, wicked dance moves, and commitment. The other cheerleaders liked Sam as both a captain and a friend. We will miss you so much. Our other captain, Ashley Getz, exemplifies not only what a well-rounded student looks like, but she's truly, deeply the kindest person that I have encountered in the student body. She's continuously worked throughout the season to make the other cheerleaders feel comfortable and welcomed. She worked one-on-one when needed and took on all the responsibilities of captain and sometimes coach without hesitation, all while balancing her daily responsibilities. I cannot be more proud of Ashley, and this is why you will be awarded the Warrior Award.
Thank you, Jess. That wraps up our winter sports. The first spring sport we will be honoring this evening is boys track and field. Head coach Sam Palumbo, please come up.
Long time no see. Can I call my boys track members up here? Boys track. It's a motley crew. 2018 boys track team continued its streak of excellence, finishing with a dual meet record of 3-2, our 10th consecutive year with a record above 500. We also finished second at the Burlington County Divisional meet, scoring 100 points, as 6 team members were named to the All-Division team. Also, track and field has the distinction of not only being a team sport, but also has an individual championship season. The Warriors are well represented in the postseason, as 13 athletes qualified for the sectional championship meet, and 3 moved on to the state championship meet. Also, one of this year's successes would not have been possible without the leadership of our seniors. Their dedication, athleticism, skill, and overall joy to be around continues to forge the program forward, as they were shining examples of what a warrior should be for our underclassmen. Nick MacArthur. Nick MacArthur was a welcome addition to the team this year. We had a great relationship in the classroom and spoke about doing track last year. His intelligence and willpower allowed for exponentially significant improvement in the throwing events each time he participated in a practice or meet. But that's not what I'll remember about Nick. His jovial attitude and overall kindness as a person makes him an extremely high character individual. Nick Salone has completed one of the greatest transformations of a New Egypt student athlete that I've ever had the pleasure of witnessing. Again, junior year, I had the pleasure of having Nick in class. I remember when he first told me he thought he'd like to run track. I thought it would be a great idea, but when he said he wanted to run distance, I gave him a sideways glance, considering the time and effort needed to succeed in these events. I should have never doubted Nick, as over 2 years he worked extremely hard to constantly improve his times, even finishing with a personal best 800 time in his last varsity dual meet. Ryan Chung is also a 2-year member of the track and field program. Chunger, as we affectionately refer to him, continues the theme ever present in the 2018 track senior class, determined effort. Chunger was a thrower who was willing to try any of the events in order to help the team. Eventually, he settled on shot put and became our second best putter, even qualifying for the BCSL divisional meet, quite an accomplishment for someone who'd only been throwing for 2 years. Rutgers will be receiving an extremely intelligent athlete who is also one of the funniest kids I've ever met. Also, if you get a chance to check out his car, you gotta check out the Lexus, guys. It's awesome. I was extremely excited when Hunter Keaton told me that he wanted to continue track this year in order to get himself ready for his eventual collegiate soccer career. As I said during the bowling presentation, Hunter has really turned himself into an admirable athlete in New Egypt. He's a 3-sport athlete and has made amazing improvements in each of his endeavors. He would do whatever was necessary to improve. At practice, he'd sprint, run distance, lift, and never complain about what the workout was. I have no doubt that he will continue to thrive at Cairn University next year. Lucas Thompson is a 4-year member of the track and field team. I distinctly remember Lucas as a freshman, and to say that his work ethic and maturity has changed for the better would be an understatement. I'm extremely proud of the young man Lucas has become. Lucas has had to endure some of the most serious trials and tribulation that no teen should ever have to deal with. But he was always able to keep his head above water, grinding, working hard to become the best athlete and person he could be. It absolutely paid off, as for the first time he qualified for the state sectional championship meet and had a personal best throw in the javelin there. Sean O'Neill and I go way back. I can distinctly remember him as an elementary school student, attending New Egypt youth soccer camps I coached. He was a great player, even at that age, but most importantly, his mom brought the campers and coaches ice pops on the last day. Sean is my last link to coaching soccer at NHS. Not counting my legendary player turned coach, Matt, the master of all that is soccer, Carroll. Sean was the only freshman to make varsity my last year. I honestly believe that our experience together through soccer helped him to decide to run track. From the onset, I knew he was going to be a superstar. His breakout meet came during the state group championships, as it was his job to anchor the 4x800 relay. Not only did he help the team set a school record in that race, but he also split 2 flat, an unbelievable time for a freshman. It was at that time that I started to tell him, even though soccer was his love, track would be his future. As is the case 100% of the time, I was right. And 4 years later, he's a multiple-time BCSL division champion in the 800 and 1600, a first-team all-division athlete, state medalist several times over, and school record holder in the 800 meters with a time of 1:56.64. He's also a 2-time Meet of Champions qualifier and finished 3rd overall in Group 1 this season, solidifying a 3rd-team All-Group 1 selection. Sean's accomplishments on the track at NEHS will live on forever, even after he finishes his running career at UMass Lowell. It's my honor and pleasure to name him the 2018 Boys Track Warrior Award winner.
Thank you, Sam. The next sport we'll be recognizing is girls track and field. Coaches Renee Palumbo and Kathleen Chesmo.
At this time, can I have the members of the girls track team please come forward? The 2018 Warrior Girls Track Team had another successful season. The team finished with a conference record of 4-1 and were crowned co-champions of the Freedom Division. The girls proved their title competing against all 5 schools in the Freedom Division by winning the BCSL divisional meet with a total of 114 points, beating out Palmyra by 4 points to win the divisional meet. 5 girls earned BCSL first team honors, 2 girls earned second team division all honors, and all of these accomplishments in our Freedom Division title would not be possible without the hard work and motivation of our athletes here tonight. Walking through the halls of New Egypt, there are many signs and sayings. The warrior code, once a warrior, always a warrior, warrior pride, and the one that stuck out to me the most is mind, body, spirit, which is located above the Warrior Award athletic plaques. The seniors on our team truly embody the expression mind, body, and spirit. They're extremely involved in everything our small school and community has to offer, whether it be running the stage crew and the stage lights for every event our district offers. Thank you, Clara. The French Club, the Environmental Club, Relay for Life, volunteering at the animal shelter, being members of National Honor Society, working part-time jobs, and I could go on and on and on because these girls really do a multitude of activities. They have proved that they have the warrior mind and the warrior spirit, but the one thing they have in common is being a lady warrior and being the warrior body. Senior Kara Johnson is a young lady that always has a positive attitude. She's willing to do anything for the benefit of our team, including the boys team helping Jay more sometimes. Her participation in the 200 and 400 and even the occasional relay race will be sorely missed next year. I'll never forget last year when she stepped up and stepped out of her comfort zone to try the javelin when we really needed someone to come out and throw for us. And she did so without hesitation, showing her dedication to the team, and she never questioned it once. Outside of her role in the track team, Kara has truly embodied the mind and spirit of a warrior, and she'll be missed next year a great deal. Thank you, Kara. In the throwing events, the Halloms, I tried to write about them separately, but it just didn't work. I'm sorry. But they have proved to be a solid contribution to our team. I've known the Halloms since 8th grade French class, and I thought that I was being tricky by telling them apart because one had braces and the other one didn't. I think we know that I still have problems telling them apart every day, and I've had them in French for 5 years. Together, the two of them are a dynamic duo. Listening to their banter back and forth, even when they were walking into the awards tonight, there was some quiet arguing going on. So when you get to know the Halloms, especially the French 4 family, I think everyone knows that they're very funny. But both of them were really consistent performers in the shot put and the discus, and we appreciate all the hard work that they put into our team, and they were there every day, very motivated and very dedicated, always with a smile. Thank you, Halloms. Okay, any questions? Now bear with me, I think it's from Mr. Plumbo, I really like stats, and I have a lot of stats on this next athlete. Junior Celeste Leo, she's a school record holder in the 100 with a time of 12.6, the 200, 26.6, fully automatic, and the 4x400 relay. She's been undefeated in the 100 and 200 since her freshman year, so she has not been beat once in the Freedom Division. She's undefeated in the 4x400 relay as well as the 400-meter dash this year. She was selected BCSL First Team All-Conference in the 100 and 200 her freshman, sophomore, and junior year. She was selected First Team All-Conference in the 4x400 this year. She has scored 239 career points in dual meet competitions, 78 career points at the divisional meet, and there should be 40 more points, but they canceled our meet last year. She scored 21 points at the state sectional meet, giving her a total career of 338 points as a junior. This year, Celeste finished 11th at the Group 1 championship meet in the 200, setting a new school record, beating her old record, making this the highest place finisher for the girls team in a running event in the Group 1 championship. Outside of all of her stats, awards, and honors, this year Celeste very naturally stepped into the role of our team captain. After graduating our core group of runners last year, including her sister Azalea, on the first day of practice, Celeste seamlessly filled in the role that we were missing of a team leader. She was always at practice with a smile or something funny to say, and she knows the words to every single song. Her humble attitude combined with her intensity and competitive spirit truly make her an amazing athlete, and we are certain that next year will only bring even greater things. I'm happy to announce this year's Warrior Award recipient is Junior Celeste Leo. Thank you.
Thank you, Renee. I will be filling in for baseball coach Andrew Sullivan. Could I have our baseball players please come to the stage? Despite a difficult start with the weather at the start of the spring season, these guys had to be inside the gym quite a bit, which baseball players are not usually accustomed to. They'd much rather be out on the field. This year's team had an outstanding season. They finished with a 12-6 record, 6-2 record in the division. They had one win in the state tournament, and they were also the only team to defeat Riverside, who ended up winning the division championship and also ended up being a Central Jersey Group 1 finalist. There's 5 seniors on this year's team: Neil Flogel, Anthony Burr, Jerry Howe, Kyle Frimmel, and Mark Carroll. Mark will be continuing his baseball career at Rutgers Camden University. Kyle obviously will be continuing his football career at St. Lawrence University. Anthony will be continuing his basketball career And this year's Warrior Award winner will be our shortstop, Neil Flogel. Boys lacrosse coach Brennan McCarthy, please step forward at this time.
Good evening. I'd like to call up our senior, Zach Young. Perfect attendance. I'd like to congratulate the seniors on their pending graduation and advancement with their lives. I'd like to thank the parents for being supportive of what we were trying to build, and a huge thank you to Jim Sawicki, who kept our team together this year, barely, but together nonetheless. I'd like to thank Coach Carazola. He's invaluable to have on my side, always there with great advice. He's a foxhole guy, and he's the greatest assistant coach in the building. I'd like to thank Chase Durbin for being a great alumni, fantastic teammate and postgraduate, and coming to many home and many away games. We were 7-12 this year. We made the playoffs for the 4th year in a row, and we'd like to hang our hat on the Donovan Catholic win late in the year. We were a young group, as you can see by our one senior, Mr. Zach Young. Let's end the mystery. Zach's going to win the Warrior Award this year. Zach knew he was going to win the Warrior Award since his freshman year, because he was the only freshman. He did not rely on this fact. He worked tirelessly to transform his body, his game, and his mentality over 4 years. I said this a lot to Zach. I don't think it's inaccurate. I also don't think it's mean. Zach is not fast. Zach is not strong. Zach has grit and toughness in great surplus. He is tough, gritty, and cerebral. He is tough, as shown by the bruises he wore on his arm for all 4 years. He is gritty by playing through numerous injuries, such as a dislocated jaw and tons of stitches in his forehead in the Holy Cross game. When it looked like his season was on the verge of ending due to injury, ZY would trot out to practice with the latest installment of Sawicki injury management technology. Zach is tough, gritty, and savvy, and that will get him very far in life, as it did in athletics. ZY played to his strengths, often uses his intellect to outmaneuver opponents on the field. When Zach was the only freshman, it's the first day of practice in a frigid March, out in the parking lot. It's my first practice as a head coach, and I wanted to be everything to everyone and work my tail off. My plan was to do everything by the book. We split up for partner throws, and I go with the young freshman. ZY throws a coach impressing rocket pass that leaves my all-time #1 favorite stick, not cracked, but demolished in my hands. My stick is in shambles. I let out a string of expletives that my mother would not approve of. Zach apologized profusely, and I told him I'd rather have that pass right in the stick as hard as he could than not reach me or make me chase it through the parking lot. The shine was off the new coach, and the young freshman had reduced him to a man mourning his plastic beauty. From there, we would go on to win two division championships. ZY would be named team captain his junior and his senior year and make second team BCSL this past season. Zach has become the winningest player in New Egypt lacrosse history with 41 wins in 4 years. ZY is off to continue his educational journey at West Virginia, and hopefully when those country roads lead him home, he stops by the program and keeps in touch. Thank you, ZY, for making an easy decision even easier by being incredibly tough and coachable. I had a blast coaching ZY, and it's my honor to introduce the 2018 Men's Lacrosse Warrior Award winner, Zach Young.
Thank you, Brendan. Girls lacrosse coach Lisa Malloy, please come to the stage.
Looking at the breakdown of our 2018 lacrosse season, it's clear that the team was able to achieve great success and ultimately shaved years away of rebuilding with gigantic margins. Firstly, our 5-12 record improved to 8-11. We tallied 5 nail-biting games, just 1 or 2 points against teams that we lost to by more than 10 goals last season, including Robbinsville and Northern Burlington. Overall, we were able to cut the deficit of goals against from 226 to 169. Our biggest highlight of this season was the team's performance against Immaculata. A swarm of belief and energy overtook our field and team that day, and I'm still incredibly proud of what the team was able to achieve within 1 year. The bar absolutely raised a few notches when we were able to defeat this team that we had lost to by 9 the year earlier. With leadership comes success, and I want to congratulate my 2 girls, Sam Weber and Katie Poach, on their successful athletic careers. Girls, please come up to the stage. I can honestly say that this dynamic duo of senior captains led the team with unwavering determination since day one. The combined sense of passion and pride has drastically helped this lacrosse family become believers. Although we had early setbacks, you remained positive, never questioned your coaches, and helped to make the team better and took them to a different level. Your ability to face adversity with confidence was vital in close game scenarios, and you have taught your teammates to play with zero mercy. Arguably one of the most versatile players I've ever coached, Sam Weber has set the bar high with her own personal set of expectations. As one of New Egypt's strongest attackers and vital midfield players, Sam stepped up this season with 25 goals, 43 ground balls, 16 turnovers, and 9 assists. Sam's pure example of a student with grit was able to consistently perform by scoring 1 goal at least each game this season. Her enormous heart and passion is coupled with strong communication, fearlessness, and the strength that will be missed truly next season. Amazing run, Webb. You have surpassed all expectations, and I wish you good luck and everything at Liberty University. This year's Warrior Award goes to Katie Poach. As a 4-year varsity player, Katie has the exceptional ability to lead since her sophomore year. Before my reign, and I had the ability to watch her for the last 2 years. Deemed by her coaches, teammates, and peers as a special type of leader, Katie's natural ability to command was widely appreciated and recognized by her teammates and coaches. With great sense of leadership, both academically and athletically, Katie's grit to succeed defines her tremendous character. As one of her teammates explained in a written nomination, Katie has always been a leader. She's dependable and has been a friend that has always stepped up and is needed the most on the field. She performs when under pressure and has a remarkable way of communicating with everyone on the field. Another teammate expressed, ever since my freshman year, Coach has been supportive as she's been funny. She gives great direction to everyone on the field and has a winning attitude that has brought spirits up this season rather than in the past. Not only does she herself have great drive, but she encourages others as well. In summary, this warrior has shown the display of strong communication, adaptability, and courage that has helped promote great expectations within the family. Leading the team with 20 caused turnovers, she's a do-it-all type of player with 31 career goals, 137 ground balls, 55 caused turnovers total, and 27 draw controls. Katie was awarded second team all-conference as a junior, and I'm incredibly proud of her accomplishments, and I can't wait to watch her soar as a Green Terror, because I'm just not sure what they are, and continue her collegiate lacrosse career at McDaniel College. Thank you again for everything, girls. You'll be incredibly missed, but I know you'll succeed at everything and anything you choose to do.
Thank you, Lisa. Head golf coach Glenn Carnegie, please come forward.
Congratulations, seniors. Your four-year New Egypt High School career is coming quickly to an end. You will be missed. There are some who say that playing sports is all about winning. It often seems that all of the passion and the love for the game that we start out with can often be lost. Let's remember why we play. We put in the work and the time to get better because we want to. Hard work and commitment are what allow us to win, and that's what sports teaches you, to give it your all. It's that feeling of knowing that you're giving everything you have that makes it worth it. This just doesn't apply in the athletic competition. The determination and perseverance that you've learned will hopefully stay with you all your life. You're a competitor, so use it to your advantage. I'd like to invite my golf seniors up, Jeff Sakamura and Dylan Weisberger. Both of these young men have been on my golf team for 4 years. Although our 3-10 record doesn't reflect the amount of hard work that we put in, we have a lot to be proud of. I'd like to commend the entire golf team this year for their perseverance and great attitude, despite the horrible weather, not only in the beginning, but pretty much throughout the entire season. Everyone on this year's golf team competed in varsity matches, including our 3 freshmen. In addition to our regular season matches, we played in 5 tournaments, and thanks to the leadership of these 2 captains, we were competitive in all of them. We finished in front of Pennsauken, Pemberton, Bordentown, and Holy Cross in this year's BCSL tournament. Jeff Sakamura was named to this year's BCSL First Team All Conference, and Dylan was named to this year's Second Team All Conference. They were the team captains, along with our first female captain ever, Ellie Witham. Having had the privilege of coaching these 2 and witnessing them develop into fine, young, honorable men has been very rewarding. Jeff is a first-class individual and a gentleman, both on and off the course. He comes from a great family and will be attending Seton Hall in the fall to major in business, and I will surely miss him. Dylan will be attending Brookdale Community College as he prepares for a career with PSE&G. I've known him since he was a toddler, and he has always been the first to volunteer his help with anything that needs to be done, whether it's distributing or collecting equipment or entering scores after a late home match. He was a 4-year varsity letter winner, a 3-sport athlete, and an Eagle Scout. I will miss Dylan as well, and I'm proud to name him this year's Warrior Award winner.
Thank you, Glenn. Our last team of the evening would be softball, Coach Kevin English.
Ladies, would you come up here? I know a few people have already done this, but I'd feel remiss if I did not. Good evening again, and I would like to congratulate everyone for being here. I I'd like to thank a few people personally, the Booster Club and Lynn Kokoda for making this night possible. Secondly, to Kent and his crew for getting the fields ready and taking pride in our facilities. I would like to also thank the athletic department, Chris and Deb. They do a ton of work for us to make these things happen, and our administration for your support. Mr. Sawicki, Mr. Corby, and Mr. Carazola, I think some of our unsung heroes, nursing our players back to health, or building them to a point where they're injury-free. I think they get overlooked a little bit sometimes, so thank you to them. Also, thank you to my assistant coaches, Kayla Souls and Sam Bendick, for their hard work and dedication to the girls and the program. Finally, to the parents, Chris, Bill, Jody, Rob, Kim, Greg, Renee, and Ray, I'd like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to work with your daughters. You have done an amazing job preparing them for any opportunity they encounter. Tonight, we're here to recognize the honors and accomplishments of our seniors and to say thank you for maintaining the high standards and traditions that were set before you. As you look around the room, you see many banners hanging on the wall. To me, these banners symbolize wins and these banners symbolize wins and losses. They mean much more. When I look around the gym, I can't recall records and averages. Instead, I see hard work, countless hours spent in the weight room and on practice fields. I see dedication, trips to the training room, and long bus rides to games. I see sacrifice, time away from loved ones, and vacations put on hold. To me, sports are not about winning and losing, but rather preparing yourself for the opportunity to compete and create memories. Through your hard work and dedication, you four have exemplified what it takes to be a competitor. You have accomplished some remarkable feats and created many memories. Juliana, Lily, Mackenzie, and Chloe, 2 weeks ago, was not the storybook ending we dreamed of. But when the emotions of the game fade away, you will be left with some amazing memories that you have collected throughout your careers here. During your 4 years, you have accomplished some impressive feats. As a Warrior softball player, your teams have won 61 games, a BCSL Liberty Division Championship, a BCSL Tournament Championship, two sectional titles, and 1 state championship. This season, our softball team finished 9-11, which is uncharacteristic for our program. And we started the season with 1 win in our first 10 games. Despite that, we did enjoy a memorable late season run where we won 8 of our last 10 games. It would be common and even possibly expected for a group of teenage kids to lose their belief and faith in their goals after such a rough start to a season. This was not the case with these young ladies. In true Warrior softball fashion, they persevered and created a buzz around Group 1 softball world. Unfortunately, it did not end in that storybook fashion, but it did bring respectability back to the program and served notice to everyone around that Warriors will never go away quietly. Our first senior is Juliana Byrne, a 2-year member of the program and a varsity award winner this year. Jules will be continuing her education next year at Florida Institute of Technology, where she will be studying ocean engineering and coastal zone management. Juliana has come back to us after playing her freshman year. She is a student at Mates Academy in Manahawkin, so before every practice or game, it was at least an hour trek, and she did this without question and complaint. That is what's so wonderful. Next senior, Lily Lowcamp, is a 2-year varsity letter winner and 4-year member of our program. She will be attending Stockton University to study psychology for pre-occupational therapy. Lily is a hard-working, dependable player for us. She worked hard to win a varsity spot and added to the competitive nature of the team. The things I will most remember and cherish about Lily is her upbeat personality and her ability to recognize her mistakes and work hard to correct them. I will miss Lily's attitude and approach to practice and life in general. I want to thank Lily for always finding a way to brighten up even the toughest situations. Lily Lowcamp. Next senior, Mackenzie O'Brien. Mac is a 4-year member of the program and a 2-year varsity letter winner. In her 4 years with the program, like Lily, Mac worked hard
and bided her time learning behind some talented players. When it was her time, she stepped up and fulfilled her responsibilities at a high level. There was a lot of pressure to be a starting varsity player in our program, and she handled the pressure perfectly. The things I'm going to miss about Mac are her dry, sarcastic jokes and her ability to fluster Lily at any moment. I want to thank Mackenzie for being a great role model for the younger players. Mackenzie O'Brien. Our final senior, Chloe Lewis, is a 4-year varsity letter winner, a first-team Liberty Division All-Star, and will be attending Albany University in the fall to continue her education while playing softball. During her softball career, Chloe has earned a .404 batting average with 85 runs scored, 94 RBIs, and 115 hits. Chloe also ended her career with 26 pitching wins and over 300 career strikeouts. Chloe's knowledge of the game, leadership, and calm demeanor was a big reason that our season did not completely derail. When big plays were needed, Chloe was always there to provide for us. Being the varsity starter here at New Egypt is enough pressure to make any normal teenager crack, but Chloe is not any normal teenager. Chloe accepted the responsibility of being the leader and found a way for each player around her to get better. When your role as a player starts to become one of a mentor to those around you, you have become more than just a normal player and person. You've become a warrior to me. And that's why this year's 2018 Softball Warrior Award winner is Chloe Lewis.
Thank you, Kevin. That concludes all of our sports. At this time, if you would turn your attention to the screen beneath the scoreboard, Lance Armstrong and the students of his media classes have put together a highlight video of our sports teams. Thank you, Lance and students, for your contribution to our program this evening, as well as throughout the year. Please feel free to move or stand to make it easier for you to see the screen.
Stay with her!
up for her, Hannah! Way to get up for her!
The next awards we will be handing out for athletes who have competed on the varsity level for all 4 years they have been in high school. Principal Mike Mendez is up here to hand out your plaques when I call your names. Amanda Brown, girls soccer. Anthony Burr, boys basketball. Brianna Carter, fall cheer. Mackenzie Crater, fall cheer. Matthew Dempsey, boys basketball. Luke Fenimore, boys bowling. Neil Flogel, baseball. Ashley Getz, winter cheer. Kirsten Hughes, marching band. Quinn Kimmick, boys basketball. Kaylee Kinks, fall cheer. Chloe Lewis, softball. Peyton Magnata, field hockey. David Marshall, marching band. Sean O'Neill, both boys track and boys soccer. Caitlin Poach, girls lacrosse. Owen Robb, boys basketball. Valerie Rossi, fall cheer. Jeff Sakamura, golf. Michael Schmid, wrestling. Paige Siegel, girls soccer. Sarah Stakowski, girls soccer. Samantha Weber, both girls basketball and girls lacrosse. Dylan Weisberger, both golf and boys bowling. Zach Young, both boys lacrosse and cross country. And Dylan Zawada, marching band. The next awards we'll be handing out are for athletes who participated on a varsity level in 3 sports this past school year. This participation takes a tremendous time commitment in order to balance athletics, academics, and their personal life. Anthony Burr. Baseball, boys basketball, and football. Hunter Keaton. Boys bowling, boys track, boys soccer. Nick Salone, marching band, boys track, and cross country. Samantha Weber, girls soccer, girls basketball, and girls lacrosse. and Dylan Weisberger, boys soccer, boys bowling, and golf. Last year was the first time we asked two of our coaches to be the presenters of the Male and Female Senior Athletes of the Year Awards, which were given to Gabby Medina and Jordan Bendick. This year I have again asked two of our coaches to be the presenters to our recipients. I know these coaches, through their relationships with these athletes, will be able to convey to you much better than I can why they were chosen as our Male and Female Athletes of the Year. Girls soccer coach Jen Kashuba will be presenting our Female Athlete of the Year Award.
Hi again. I was asked tonight to award the Female Athlete of the Year. It's an honor to present this award. In the past, I've had the privilege to have coached and taught many other athletes who've received this great honor, and there have been a commonality between them all. Each of them possesses the same qualities: a strong will and intense determination to get better every day, and the work ethic to sacrifice many extra hours putting in reps until they've mastered the craft. Because of this, they have participated at a high level despite being a rarity, that they have continued to be a multi-sport athlete. In today's day and age, it's hard to fight the system of specialization. Tonight's award winner embodies all of the same qualities that have made her predecessors successful. Without consciously knowing it, she has followed in the footsteps of some great New Egypt athletes that have paved the way to greatness. In her 4 years, she has played on the soccer, basketball, and lacrosse teams, where she has led her team in many different ways. Her resilience to come back after a huge season-ending injury is admirable. This injury showed how a positive outlook, determination, and perseverance can overcome anything that goes on in her life. Her impact in soccer was priceless. For the first season that I coached, she was sidelined with that season-ending injury from basketball. Even though she could not be on the field with the girls, her impact was felt with sideline coaching, positivity, and overall willingness to be there day in and day out. She worked in the weight room to gain her strength and mobility back to play her senior year. This year, she helped the team win the Patriot Division title, where she was a calming force we needed when we were overwhelmed on and off the field. She created plays, communicated, and used the field to be a selfless player to create many assists. During the winter, she was part of the girls' basketball team. Mrs. Panasek states, being the sole senior on the team, her leadership and maturity was what we needed. She pushed younger players to do more and made practice competitive so we could be successful. She obviously cannot be replaced. Here, she has earned herself a BCSL honors her junior and senior years. In the spring, she was a member of the girls lacrosse team. Again, she has made tremendous impact, as stated by her coach, Ms. Malloy. She's a pure example of a student with grit. She never missed a practice and continues to put all of her heart and joy into the sport and her team. Again, earning BCSL honors. This lovely lady will be missed in all the sports she has played here in New Egypt High School, and her shoes will not be filled easily on or off the field. It has been a privilege for many of us to have been able to coach this smart, determined, talented, yet humble young lady. It is my honor to present the 2018 New Egypt High School Female Athlete of the Year Award to Samantha Weber.
Boys basketball and cross country coach Mick Hughes will be presenting our Male Athlete of the Year Award.
So before I say this, just to the senior class in general, I really do kind of admire how throughout all seasons of the year you guys supported each other. If you weren't playing a sport in the fall, you were out there supporting that team. guys who weren't playing a sport in the winter, you really came out and supported the winter sports, and likewise for the spring. So that's really nice. And just over the past couple of days, seeing you guys come together at these different senior events, you guys have a great class, and you're certainly going to be missed. So it's my distinct pleasure to present this year's Athlete of the Year Award. This year's recipient is a true man for all seasons. We always tell our student athletes to step outside of their comfort zone. Well, in the fall, this athlete did just that by signing up for the football team for the first time in his life. As his basketball coach for the previous 3 years, when I heard the news, I called him immediately to get a feel for where his head was at on the decision. He told me he'd always wanted to play, and his parents had finally agreed to let him play, and so he's going to go for it. I gave him my full support, but I told him if he broke his leg, I would kill him. So he went on to play a major role on a good football team that went 7-3. He returned punts, played defensive back and receiver, scored 5 touchdowns, 3 offensive, 1 punt return, and 1 kick return. In speaking with Coach Fentz, he was most impressed with his ability to quickly pick up football terminology and concepts, despite this being his first go-round. On the baseball diamond, where he played on the varsity team since his sophomore year, he posted a gaudy .416 career batting average. This year, he had surgery on his hand, which cost him about half the season. Usually an infielder, this year when he returned from injury, he played left field in order to provide help where the team needed it most. As a basketball player, I'm not even sure where to start. He finished his career with 1,056 career points, 357 career assists, 168 career threes. Over the course of his career, he owned Palmyra, posting a career high 33 against them at home this year. Then on senior night against Riverside, he went on to score 27 on his way to be scoring his 1,000th career point in our home victory. Mostly something that's really commendable about this guy, the example that he sets for the young guys in the program, in the community, just by being an engaging student athlete, spreading his energy and enthusiasm that kind of lifts everyone else around him. I will miss him dearly. He was my point guard for 4 years. He will continue to play college basketball at Bryn Athyn in the Philadelphia area. And he is your 2018 New Egypt Male Athlete of the Year, Anthony Burke.
The Bart and Berge Award is named after a lifelong resident, parent, former Board of Education member, and a friend to the students of New Egypt schools for over 60 years. Long after Mr. Ambergi had completed his public service, he served as the original bus driver for the New Egypt High School varsity athletic events and guided both the buses and the student athletes as we built our programs. This award was created in his honor to recognize his dedication and service to the student athletes of New Egypt High School. I have known this year's winner for close to 30 years. Jim Sawicki was a former 3-sport athlete at Denellen High School who after graduation headed south to East Carolina University. After graduating from East Carolina, he has made a home here at New Egypt High School as our athletic trainer for the past 17 years. During his time in New Egypt, he has also served as a supervisor of athletics. He has witnessed more athletic events than any other person associated with New Egypt High School. His training room is kept meticulously organized, and his rules are adhered to by all of our athletes. He has treated and rehabbed injuries, and at times acted as a counselor for athletes struggling on and off the field. He keeps up to date with trends and new treatments in the ever-changing athletic training field, and is highly respected by fellow athletic trainers in Ocean and Burlington counties. His impact on the athletes in New Egypt covers not only our current students sitting here this evening, but many athletes who have come through the school prior to them. Throughout the school year, alumni always seek him out to converse and catch up during our athletic events. When visitors come into the high school, they inevitably ask if Mr. Sawicki is in the building today. On behalf of our current and former athletes and coaches, I would personally like to thank Jim Sawicki for his years of service to the student athletes. As a former coach, I work with many college and high school athletic trainers and can assure you that Jim is as good an athletic trainer as you will find anywhere. Jim Sawicki, please come up to accept the 2018 Bart and Bertie Award.
At this rate, I thought I was going to have to either retire or die to get this award, but I guess it's soon enough. So, thank you. In athletic training, you don't get into it for awards or accolades. A lot of what my job entails is doing behind-the-scenes work, keeping our athletes healthy to make sure that they can go on and win games and they get the awards and accolades, and that's the most rewarding part of my job. So even though it's not something I look forward to, I really like the fact that you guys have honored me with this award. It really means a lot to me. I want to say a couple thank yous and then we'll kind of get out of here. So first I want to thank Mr. Ballant and Mrs. Newman in the athletic office. They do so much for me and they really help me out. I also want to thank Mr. North and Mr. Mendez and the rest of the administration for all their support. I want to thank the coaches and the athletes because you guys are on board with what I'm doing. You help me out. You help me help you is really what it comes down to. I would like to thank Mrs. Kokoda, my scoreboard buddy that's always there. We spend more time together than I care to admit. My mentor, Joe Brennan. And then finally, I'd like to really say a big thank you to my wife, Katie, my daughter, Ryan, and my son, Hudson. Obviously, my schedule is a little crazy during the school year, so they are understanding and they help me out as much as possible. Okay, thank you so much.
Before we conclude this evening, I would like to thank some people that have been extremely helpful to the athletic department this past school year. I'd like to thank the Board of Education members for their continued support. Superintendent Jerry North, Principal Mike Mendez, Vice Principal Alicia Faries, and Supervisor of Guidance Katina George for their guidance and help. Athletic Department Secretary Debbie Newman, who always goes above and beyond to help our athletes and coaches. Athletic Trainer Jim Sawicki, who does an outstanding job of treating our athletes. Ken Ambergi, Charlie Spencer, Ryan Caruso, and Irene Diamond, who maintain our fields and grounds throughout the year. Joe Cuzio, Scott Rodriguez, Eddie Novakowski, Rich Pogaleski, and Ray Brach, who take care of our maintenance needs and projects. Senior athlete and senior seminar student, Samantha Weber, who has helped us all year with game and awards ceremony programs and all of our computer and design needs. I cannot thank all of these individuals enough. Lastly, the Booster Club, specifically Lynn Kokoda, Joe Gazzardo, and Greg Gurkowski, who helped organize this evening. Most of all, I would like to thank our athletes for everything you have done here in your time at New Egypt High School. I wish all of you the best of luck in your future endeavors. Thank you and have a good night.